The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here. Welcome to another episode of The Stack, where we focus on people, business, and technology. Today, we are taking on the number one point of failure in modern IT, and that is the connection itself. We've all been promised that the cloud would set our clients free, and yet we're still tethered to ISP timelines, outages, finger pointing. And our guest here today says it does not have to be that way. We're going to go ahead and bring in our special guest. We've got Mr. Steve Copeland with RYTHMz, which is the team behind the business in the box approach to instant, untethered, effortless connectivity. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you? Good to see you again. It's been what? It's only been a month. It's cool to be able to say that I haven't seen you for about a month now. So the last time I saw you was in Nashville.
No, that's right. It's good to see you, and the world keeps moving and grooving, and what we're talking about today is such a critical area that it affects every MSP, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In multiple different ways.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, downtime is brutal, and some SMBs can bleed up to $74,000 per hour. And fair or not, who do the clients blame? Right? Who do they blame?
Yeah. Anytime you get this call. I remember when I had my MSP, I would get this call. The internet's out. I'm on the line with Cox. It did not matter, or Spectrum, or whatever, AT&T, Verizon. Let's throw them all in there, right? It didn't matter who it was. They would just come and they would yell at you, and the internet's out. It was a way different story when the cloud wasn't involved, because I could at least keep them running, right?
Yeah.
Now everything is out here, and it's held by this thin little line, right?
Yep.
That they've invested billions of dollars onto, and they don't want you off it at all.
And it is your fault, not the ISP, right? Connectivity is your brand, and we always used to joke that a client would come in and say, "Hey, since you've been here, our microwave doesn't work." I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. We're to blame. And, so as I mentioned in the intro, I can't speak this morning, the intro, we were promised that, there's freedom with the cloud, but again, businesses are still tethered to that ISP. And so my question for you is, why has the industry accepted this fragility and downtime for so long?
Why? Because the incumbents want you tethered. Think about it.
Right.
The big telecom giants, the ISPs, they've built an empire on complexity. I know this because I worked for them. They thrive on your dependence. They sell you this vision of the future, a cloud, but they deliver it through this thin little wire, right?
Yep.
A wire they control. They make it slow. They make it complicated. They make it expensive. And when that wire breaks, and it always breaks, your business stops. They do lose tens of thousands of dollars an hour. And I mean, I had to research that when we looked at it. I literally went to friends of mine that own businesses, and I'm like, how much would it be if you lost this? Well, my ERP's in the cloud. My files are in the cloud. My email's in the cloud. They lose everything. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's clumsy. It's restrictive. We looked at this mess and decided it was time to stop apologizing for their failures and take control. That's why we say take control, to take back the cloud.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in the cost associated for a business, being down is so significant. And, we do joke about, and we joking, not joking, that the client blames us. At the end of the day, they still will. So with that being said, we need to help them find a better way. And what I want to talk about is this term that you guys have, that's business in a box. And I want to learn more about, business in a box. You guys have introduced RYTHMz, this elegant business in a box. And I want to know exactly what is it and how does it deliver connectivity in 5 minutes that usually takes an ISP months to pull off?
Well, what it is freedom. We took enterprise grade networking, the really powerful stuff, and we obsessed over making it simple. We integrated the most advanced connectivity, so 5G, satellite, wired WAN, on the planet into one beautiful box. The old way is waiting 6 months for a guy in a van to show up and drill a hole in your wall. I remember when I did one at one of my clients, the landlord ripped me a new one because they had put this big conduit down the wall, like 100 feet, to bring it down, and it didn't match the color of the building. So I had to yell at them, or I had to go get the paint. And I actually went and got paint, the swaths of it, and I went up there and I made them paint it.
Right.
So
right.
It really brings up this first pillar of what we're talking about. It's instant. We believe the best technology gets out of the way. If your technology is something you don't think about it, that's the best one. With RYTHMz, you don't wait. You don't file permits. You open the box, you plug it in, and it just works. Boom. 5 minutes. It's insanely fast, secure connectivity anywhere. And it's how it should have been all along. I don't know how many people, and you and I have been in this industry for a long time. I don't know how many people have come to me going, I've always thought about doing this. How did you pull it off? Right? Like I sat with somebody where in Nashville at GTIA, and I think that's the way you say it, GTIA maybe.
Right.
We were there, and one of my old friends comes up to me and goes, I have been trying to do this, right, for 20 years. How did you figure it out? And we really sat down and had a great conversation about it.
Well, I was just in the last couple of days talking to a friend that owns a business, and he's bringing new internet connectivity in, and and they, the construction, because it's a new ISP that's in the area, and he said he's looking at 2 to 6 months, for that build out, and and he's like, hey, we have connectivity. We're not happy with what we have. It's always going up and down. So we're just going to have to suffer for 2 to 6 more months. And he goes,
hit my sweet spot right now.
right. Exactly. So, And so let's take it to the next level. Everyone offers failover, but RYTHMz talks about Hive bonding, HIVE bonding. And, have you created an experience where the connection, never drops? And why does the physical hardware matter so much here?
Failover. I love that word. It means you had to fail for the system to switch over, right?
Yeah.
You're on a crucial video call, the WAN goes down, your call drops. Your VPN crashes, then the failover kicks in. That's not a solution, that's a disruption, and it's ugly. So we hated that experience. In fact, I have a great story about that. We first were playing with these 5G boxes and what we're going to do, and I put it as failover, and everybody stayed on, and it was this great moment of, oh my gosh, it's going to work, except for one guy, and that was the CEO of the vodka company. He looked at me and goes, my VPN went down. And I was like, oh, man. So I went and we redid it again. So we really hated that experience. So we re-engineered it. We call it Hive bonding, and this is our second pillar of what we're doing. It's untethered, meaning when we do that, we didn't just switch connections, we combine them. We took cellular, 5G, satellite, and the WAN, and we fused them into one massive intelligent pipe. If one stream falters, even for a millisecond, the others instantly pick up the load. So when you're as an MSP, when you're sitting there and you make that call, internet's down, your client is furious, and you get this, because you always get this. We can see our equipment on your end. It's your problem. So that really is where there's still a heartbeat on that line. It could be anywhere from a nick in a cable to anything of that's happening at this point. So when we combine into that, hardware, actually, we've always made this joke, hardware doesn't matter. It does a little bit, right?
Okay.
And everyone else trying to sell you these cheap plastic 5G toys with tiny antennas. You can't deliver a revolutionary experience with a toy, right? You can't do it with a thing you throw in your backpack. So we use best-of-class hardware, powerful antennas. We built this right. But the real piece is that Hive bonding piece that allows us to plug a WAN in, plug a piece. We sit on the front of the firewall or the back of the firewall and act as a firewall. But instead of being WAN 0, WAN 1, and here comes the engineer out of me, you're literally still on WAN 0, right? So from that side of it, it gives you this 99.99% uptime. We did Phoenix Fan Fusion, which had 135,000 people on just our boxes, by the way. So handled their ticketing, their vendors, a whole LAN party for a custom PC company. We had 99.993% downtime, and I was pissed off about it. And the only reason that we hit that last line didn't work is one of their guys went up and unplugged a box.
Oh, geez.
It was in the wrong spot, and he's like, "Oh, I just moved it," and I was like, oh. Not us.
Do you not know what you just did to my stats?
Oh, I was doing great, right? So yeah, it was one of those things.
Yeah. Well, speaking of events, we all love the word tax, right?
Yeah.
Like the venue tax at trade shows, paying thousands for slow internet, and it's truly it's notorious. And so how does RYTHMz empower MSPs to break that monopoly and capture those margins?
The venue tax. It's really not a tax, Dan. It's a ransom. Let's call it what it is, right? So 12,000 for 10 megabits of slow internet. When we were at Phoenix Fan Fusion, the custom PC company said they were offering me, and I could not believe this, 56 kilobit up speed for $1,000 a day. So it is really, it's ridiculous. I've never even heard that. I go, dude, I don't think I have a modem in my garage, and they save everything. Right. I don't think that could do that. It's slower than what you have at home, and they charge this. And why they can do it is because they own the only wire. Remember that little fragile wire in the building? It's a monopoly built on extortion, and we're ending that today, and we've been doing it with RYTHMz. And MSP can walk into any convention center, any stadium. We just powered the Rose Bowl with 8,000 concurrent users and deploy a vastly superior network in 5 minutes. We've got multiple partners that are working right now on concerts. We're doing a concert in San Francisco on the 20th. We're taking away the control from the gatekeepers and give it to the innovators. And that's the MSP. MSPs have been and will be innovators. We're in a flux right now in the industry, and we need to really go at this. And the margins for the service, they're absolutely beautiful. You're at 40 to 60% as an MSP on a margin for a day that you can charge $6,000 for and blow out your competition. We love that.
Right. Absolutely. And MSPs love that too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the business model. For MSPs listening out there, what's the real opportunity?
This brings us to our third pillar, and perhaps what I think is the most important: effortless. MSPs are heroes. They're tired of fighting fires. If you think about it, every MSP I know, and Dan, you've done this, midnight calls on a Saturday, taking a call during your son's spelling bee, right? Just trying to get through these different things. Even if you had, and I worked in a large MSP, even if we had that, I was still tier 3. Somebody can't figure it out, and they're still giving me a call, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, MSPs are fighting fires caused by someone else's infrastructure. We're not talking about the infrastructure of the building. We're talking about the infrastructure outside. So we designed RYTHMz to have zero operational drag. And really, we handle the carriers, we handle the complexity, we handle the support. So from that side of it, we've had some partners in the past that have been amazing. We had a guy in Texas that they were working on the T-Mobile tower. I called my rep, and I love yelling at vendors. I know that's weird to hear from a vendor, but my favorite thing is to yell at vendors. I ripped them. They stopped working until the weekend. He called me and he goes, I cannot believe that just happened. He's like, how did you pull it off? I'm like, hundreds and hundreds of SIMs gives you that power to go, hey, you're disrupting one of my clients. And this is a one box situation. And he couldn't believe it happened. So really having that and making that zero operational drag is our biggest piece. The opportunity isn't just to provide internet. It's to change your relationship with the client. The internet isn't just a tool, but changing your relationship with the client is the biggest piece. As an MSP, you're no longer apologizing for an ISP that on your best day, you're making $100 a month from, right? If you're making any money. The MSP is the architect who guarantees connectivity. And that's why we say connectivity is your brand, because at that point, guaranteeing that connectivity, it's the most important piece as you grow. In the past, and I'm not going to shout out Dan and I's age, but in the past, you control the file server, the Exchange server, the ERP server. It was all on site. So if there was a problem, you were able to deal with that, right? A patch came out, you were able to hit. Patch Tuesday was the biggest problem on the planet, right? You don't hear about it anymore, right? Now it's just one user being affected. So, but if you hit Patch Tuesday on that stupid SMB, Microsoft SMB box that was crazy, they had an Exchange, SharePoint, and Active Directory on one server. That thing, I still can't stand that thing. All of that in one piece, it would just break everything.
Yeah.
So we made the business model simple and elegant. It's unlimited solutions. We start at $5.95 a month. There's no throttling. There's no games. If an MSP charges a client $1,500 a month for a guaranteed uptime SLE, they keep the difference.
Right.
We're giving MSPs the tools to build the future, not just fix the past. It's instant, it's untethered, and it's effortless. We made it and build it to be zero operational drag.
I want to hammer on something that we have to continue to hammer on, and that's the business outcome. We talk about the business model. Our business model should be about business outcome for our clients. And we focus on, doing everything we possibly can to keep all of their, workstations running, their servers running, keeping everything operational. But then let's call it the redheaded stepchild, connectivity over here gets left behind, right?
Yeah, it has been. I mean, for years.
Yeah. And again, business outcome. Think about a law office, billing hundreds and hundreds of dollars per hour per attorney, and then all their support staff and their cost per hour. It's significant. And business outcome to them is, it's important to everybody in different ways, in different dimensions. But we have to look at each client and determine what impacts them if something goes down, and what does this cost them? And again, business outcome. That's the only way we have these conversations with our clients. That's the only way we keep them coming to a QBR is as we discuss business outcomes. They don't want to hear about technology. Hey, maybe some might want to hear the cool parts of this, if they're geeky, but 99% of them don't. They just want to hear, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to help my business? And move on.
I will give you, so my girlfriend's a librarian. She's absolutely I call her the human Google, right? She runs a branch library. She's the branch manager. She's not just a librarian. She's like literally the person running the entire system.
Yep.
She has got her master's degree. I'm not bragging about her, but just setting this stage. She knows nothing about technology. So we'll go out with her friends and we'll like, do have dinner with another couple, and they'll look and they'll go, oh, because it's easy to explain what she does, right? She's a librarian. Right. Everybody knows what a librarian is. Everybody knows that you go there, you get a book. Sometimes they have story hour. They have pet story hour, which I think is ridiculous, but they have all of these different things. So then they look at me, and she always interrupts. Right. She does not an interrupt piece, but she kind of runs interference. You know how couples do. They're like, okay. Because they'll go, oh, well, what do you do? Right. And I'm like, and I usually take this because I know I have to then I can't explain it in 30 seconds. I can't explain it in 5 minutes. And it depends on them, not on me. Right. Yeah. So it's really, she'll step in. It's really funny. She'll go, Steve didn't invent the internet, but he brings it in a box. And that's it. And then they stop and they're like, wait, what is that? And she's like, no, I don't understand at all what he does. And I just don't pay attention to him anymore. But it's really funny. So we all have that. If you think of your clients like that, right, and think of who they are, half of them don't care. Some of them do. Right. Some of them are like geeking out, like, oh, wow, that was really cool. And then you play this. The problem that I've seen and something that I've tried to pull out of myself is we always try to, I call it the tech guys kicking sand in each other's faces to see who's the biggest tech guy, who's the smartest guy in the room. Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, I had, we're at some show and this guy goes, have you ever taken one of those boxes and put it in a hot air balloon to see how far it would go up? And I go, what would be the business case to do that? Give me a use case that would make sense. And he goes, well, no, just for fun. And I said, no, I'm not going to take $10,000 of the hardware and throw it in a balloon. Right. It doesn't make any sense. So it's really kind of and you nailed it, going back to solving their problem. Right. We've had multiple conversations we have one guy's internet went out at 1:30 every day. They scheduled their lunchtime around it. And the partner came in and they're like, everybody's lunch is at 1:30 because the internet always goes down at 1:30. We came in, we saw one of the worst networks I've ever seen because he had one of those, and everybody knows this. The CEO that thinks they're a network engineer, there's 4 firewalls. I was like, I'm calling him, I'm going, dude, what are you doing? And he was like, yeah, the guy's a little weird. I'm like, yeah, a little bit. There's 4 firewalls like stacked, like 1 to 1 to 1. And I'm like, all right. What? Yeah, I was like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, they're trying to get him to get rid of that. And I'm like, yeah, that would be number one conversation. But we had that, we put it in there. We ended up being there for 3 months, and they were threatening to move away from their ISP. And it was miraculous. The ISP fixed it.
Oh,
they ended up keeping us, but they were like, the ISP fixed it. They called, they're like, we're going with this RYTHMz box. We're doing this 5G solution, and thou shall not be named cable company, which has the highest customer satisfaction score.
Right.
Went out and fixed it literally within 3 days. The guy called me up laughing. Both the partner and him are like, we got to tell Steve this. This is hilarious. And he's like, well, we're going to keep your box anyway. He goes, I was threatening to leave them. And he goes, I don't have to threaten to leave you. And I'm like, it was pretty good. So, but yeah, that business outcome is the key. Yeah. It's that one solution that you solve that pain point, right?
I thought for sure you were going to tell me like they took the timer that was meant for the Christmas tree during the holiday season and they plugged their cable modem into it because from 1:30 to 2:30 they didn't need it, the Christmas lights to be on.
That's a good solution. Reset every time at 1:30. Alexa, reset the router.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So for Oh man, that is awesome. So for our audience that want to see this live, you guys are offering a pilot program for
Yeah.
Everything MSP listeners. Can you tell us how our, MSPs can take the business in a box, and see this work and see how it works in different environments?
So we have different ways that you can engage with us. So one of them, and we kind of talked about this, we have the 595 box, we have a 295 box, 795. All depends on bandwidth. If you need Wi-Fi, very easy stuff. But the real way that our partners are engaging, and we've only been around 18 months. We have 118 partners. So which is pretty cool, right? As we're moving forward. From that standpoint, what we've been able to do is do a proof of concept. So when we do that, we get, and a proof of concept is not an event.
Yep.
It's not, hey, I got an event, Steve, ship me out a free box. It's totally free. Shipping, box, everything. We do a proof of concept. You want to commit to them, and I teach you guys how to do it. We're doing a lot more with our partners for marketing and co-marketing and showing them how to do this now. We have them commit. So like, we'll bring it out. We'll do it for free. We'll ship it to you. You set it up, but you need the commitment. If this works, Mr. Customer, you'll buy. So we'll make sure that that happens with you. We've got, I'll give you a perfect example of where that was. There was a big, huge concert in, I want to say Minnesota. It may have been Wisconsin. So it was at this big museum. The museum is the MSP's partner. It's being run by Live Nation. I mean, this is not like a little tiny concert, right? Yeah. And he came in, he goes, I have this solution. We can do it. We'll pull it out. They ended up going with the tried and true solution that they have. And I called him up and I go, Ben, I'll ship you 4 boxes for free. Let's go toe to toe. I like to fight. So I'm like, let's go toe to toe. We'll beat them. And he goes, all right. And then like him, the CEO, the COO get on a call with me and they're like, can we do this? Like, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And that's free. So when we do a proof of concept, we'll work with you on that. For your listeners, it's an absolutely free piece. From that side of it, we're going to give you guys 2. Normally, we just give our partners 1 unless they're associated with something. With Everything MSP, we're going to give them 2, meaning we can just do 1. We can do a second one. Once we put that proof of concept in place, 80% close rate.
Nice.
So I mean, some of them give it back. It happens, right? Yeah. We know that. Sometimes it doesn't work the greatest. Sometimes, depending on where it's at, nobody can guarantee connectivity with a wireless piece. Depends on where they're at. Sometimes we do our due diligence to test it. That's why we do that proof of concept.
Okay. So to take advantage of the pilot, how do they do that?
Well, they can go to RYTHMz.com, mention that they saw us. There is a contact form, and they mention that they saw me or saw us on the Everything MSP website or a podcast, and they can just do that. I am in the middle of, Dan, and you know this, I may be a little busy, but I am in the middle of actually putting in a referral link that they can just do that with, and that should be live next week, so that we'll have that piece going. So it'll be RYTHMZ.com/everythingmsp, so they can come in and do that piece.
Very cool. And can you tell a little bit about, as we're wrapping up here, the on-demand option?
So the on-demand option, it's what other 5G people are using. And so they bring a box out, the connectivity in that's in there is a 5G. It's always cheaper. Because the problem is you have the data side, right? We're unlimited. So most of our boxes is an unlimited data, uncappable, right below FirstNet. They don't stop you at 200 gigs. We work that relationship out. I got asked at another event, how did I pull that off? And I stated, I lied and had a lot of hubris. I just had to get 1. Because as soon as you had 1, the other 2 just fall right in line. Yeah. So, and it was pretty. They were laughing their head off about it. They were like, "Okay, that's funny." a lot of hubris. Like, no, we've got Verizon set up, and I'm talking to T-Mobile. No, we've got T-Mobile set up. They're offering us this, not a thing, and we were cracking up about it. So that unlimited piece is there. So what else is there is a per gig charge, right? So they'll do 10 gigs. Per 10 gigs is X amount. Per 1 gig is X amount. So we've worked that out. So we have a $95 option. That box is for standby.
Okay.
What that has is it has SIM cards that are not fully activated yet, still unlimited, right? But you're paying for it at tiers, and we have it at $7 a tier. And there's 10 gig tiers, 1 gig tiers. You get a certain amount free. I'm going to tell you, I get fearful of it.
Okay.
And there's and this is me selling. So so it's the reason I did it is because people were asking for it, and I said, all right, yeah. We have somebody that consistently does 250 gigs a day. That would cost $1,000 just in a normal piece. So, and when I say consistently does 250 gigs a day, not 249, not 251. It's always 250. It's like the weirdest phenomenon I've ever seen. I've actually called the partner, laughing my head off about it. I'm like, I've never seen this. And they're like, yeah. He goes, I don't know what it is either. I'm like, it's always this number. So
download 250 gigs. Alexa, download 250 gigs exactly per day.
Exactly. Per day. Exactly. It's the weirdest thing. Just one of the math guy in my head went, this is not possible. Like, even statistically not. So it's there. We have that. That's more for a failover standpoint. One more thing, and we didn't really talk about it. Cybersecurity and where we fit in with that. So cybersecurity, once you have anything happen, you need a new line. Anything happens, I mean, we're talking about having those different pieces, these different sides of it. We provide an instant clean network. And it's not that it's not hackable. Everything is hackable if it's connected to the internet, right?
Yeah.
It's like finding a needle in a stack of needles. And when we do that piece and we bring it out, we really kind of leaned into this side of it for that one solution. Their network is compromised, and we don't want to use the word hacked or breached, and I know all the different terms, right?
Right.
There's a compromise that happens. That network goes out. We now can slide over people into an instant clean network. You don't have to wait for the ISP. You don't have to wait for that. So it's really kind of this other tool set that a lot of our MSPs or our that are really deep into cybersecurity are really leaning into now with that. So that's another big piece. And I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I'm good at forgetting about stuff.
That's awesome. No, I love it. Steve, as we're wrapping things up here, one final parting word for our audience that we can get from you.
Just remember, we're instant, we're untethered and effortless. Zero operational drag, I think, is the biggest piece. Take back the cloud. You're getting blamed for it. You're not billing for it 90% of the time. Yeah. It's just time to make money on something that is it is the single most overlooked point of failure in an entire network.
Excellent. Steve, I want to thank you for bringing us the connection, no pun intended, and the margins. For everybody listening, if today helped you rethink connectivity, share this episode with your team. Reach out to RYTHMz, rythms.com. Remember, it's got a Z at the end, rythms.com. And with that being said, this is Dan Tomaszewski with The Stack, where we focus on people, business, and technology. Until next time, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Steve. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.